Time to go inside out with SNY NFL insider Connor Hughes. And Connor, Thursday night seemed like yet another reminder that despite all the hype, this Jets roster is probably more than just Aaron Rodgers away from being a real contender. So where do you think that they need to start this offseason?
Offensive line. The issue is that I'm kind of struggling to see a way where Joe Douglas can fix this offensive line in just 1 year, because he's been talking about doing that ever since he became general manager in 2019, and we're 5 years later, and this group is still an issue. And now you're going in to an off season where the Jets need a new left tackle. They're going to need a new right tackle. They're going to need insurance at right guard and potentially a left guard if they choose to move on from the struggling Laken Tomlinson. Essentially 4 new pieces up front. And Joe Douglas hasn't found 4 new pieces in 5 years. Now you're asking him to find them in just a couple of months. I have my reservations, but truly, if the Jets are going to take a next step and legitimately compete next year, they're going to have to fix those big guys up front.
We keep hearing how Woody Johnson plans to bring back Robert Saleh, but with another performance like that against New England in Week 18, do you think there's any chance that that could change?
No, look, Woody Johnson is a little bit of a wild card, and maybe I guess that is something that people will think about. But when he came out and said with a pretty affirmative statement that to the New York Post that these 2 guys are coming back, I think that solidified that these 2 guys are coming back. And we can debate whether this is right or wrong, but from the Jets' perspective and their point of view, they're looking at this as basically if they blow it up, it's going to do more harm than good right now. They might as well afford a head coach and a general manager who built a team that they believed was capable of making a run this year. Let them see it through with Aaron Rodgers. Don't judge them on what they haven't been able to do without him. So they're giving them that shot in 2024. Michelle, if it doesn't work, they'll blow it up then.
Yeah, I think that's a fair philosophy. But going to the Giants this week, we've heard both head coach Brian Daboll and offensive coordinator Mike Kafka rave about what Tyrod Taylor brings. But given the history with Daboll, do you think Tyrod could be playing his way into a starting job next year if Daniel Jones needs more time to rehab?
No, I don't. Tyrod's a heck of a backup option, but I actually believe the Giants are going to go out there and look for a quarterback pretty early in the NFL draft. I could see it being with their first-round pick. I could absolutely see it being with their second-round pick, and I think you'll have a grouping of Daniel Jones, that player that they draft, and then Tommy DeVito out there for the Giants to start training camp next year. And I know there are some reservations on whether or not Daniel Jones will be ready. There were no complications with that surgery to his knee, and players tend to make recoveries from that relatively quick. I mean, heck, Aaron Rodgers was ready to go out there and play in 4 months coming off an Achilles tear, which is a bit more serious than what Daniel Jones is dealing with. So I think he's going to be ready for the start of training camp. He'll be ready for the start of the regular season. It's probably just trying to not force anything on Daniel, force him to hurry back too quick. But you'll then have those 3 competing out there, and I think that's probably the best situation for the Giants. But Tyrod will be somewhere else.